Hey guys, it's Destiny, and our favorite trickster Sparkle has finally arrived in Honkai Star Rail. If I'm being honest, she 100% reminds me of Zoroark from Pokemon with how good she is at impersonating others with her illusions. I'll be going over everything you guys need to know about her in today's video, which ranges from her kit, how to play her, best builds, and my personal thoughts on her as a character now that she is out. Lastly, make sure to subscribe and also leave a like on the video to win your 50/50 on Sparkle. Without further ado, let's talk about Sparkle.
It's you, my beloved mask.
Let's start by going over the basics of Sparkle. Sparkle is our first limited harmony quantum character who has a kit similar to one of the best supports in the game, Bronya. Sparkle can advance an ally forward by 50% with her skill, and this will allow Sparkle to also give that ally a massive crit damage buff of 24% of Sparkle's crit damage and an additional 45%, which is a bunch of crit damage, especially if you build a good amount on her. For example, if you had 180 crit damage on Sparkle, you'll give an ally 43% additional crit damage from Sparkle's own crit damage, plus that 45% from the skill itself, which is a whopping 88% additional crit damage on whoever you are using your skill on. Her skill only lasts for one turn, but if you unlock her major trace, Artificial Flower, the crit damage buff will last until the start of the ally's following turn, which means that the crit damage buff will last for your follow-up attacks and ultimates that can happen before that ally's turn comes up again. Once we get into the team section, I'll go over what characters highly benefit from this trace in particular. As for Sparkle's other perks, she increases the base skill points you have in battle by 2. So now you have 7 skill points you can use, and she can increase the number of skill points of the team by 4 with her ultimate, and also activate a nice thing called Cypher. Sparkle's talent allows a team to increase the entire team's damage based on skill point consumption. Each skill point used results in 1 stack to 3 stacks at 6% damage increase per stack, lasting for 2 turns. Cypher, which is from her ultimate, amps up the damage increase by 10% per stack. As a result, you can gain up to 48% damage increase in battle, 16% per stack when Cypher is active, otherwise an 18% damage increase total without Cypher being active, as each stack would then only give 6% damage increase overall. As for the rest of her traces, Nocturne can give an attack buff to quantum characters depending on how many quantum characters are on the team, with it being upwards to 3 quantum allies and a 5%, 15%, or 30% attack increase respectively. As for her last trace, her basic attack will regenerate an additional 10% energy. This helps for her energy rotation if you're unable to use her skill, and I'll get into this a little bit shortly. She's able to gain an additional 28% HP, 24% crit damage, and 10% effect resistance through her traces, which is great for her overall bulkiness and also reaching a good amount of crit damage to help pass it down to an ally. Now that we've gone over her base kit though, let's go over tips on how to play her and just general things to keep in mind.
It's you, my beloved mask.
When it comes to playing Sparkle, there are a few things to keep in mind. The first thing is that you'll want her faster than your main DPS, so that she can advance them forward behind her to be able to take advantage of the buffs that she gives. I would recommend giving your main DPS attack boots if you intend to run them with Sparkle. She will be able to push them up behind her, so using attack boots is far easier now, assuming you make your Sparkle pretty quick. You'll more than likely primarily only use Sparkle's skill on your main DPS, but you can also mix in basic attacks if need be, to still get a consistent 3-turn ultimate, as her energy cost is only 110. Using her on teams is pretty simple for the most part. I would personally recommend using her ultimate though after her turn, just so you don't waste any of the additional skill points you could have used in the case of an overcap. Also, if you decide to use Dance 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 on her, it would be better to ultimate afterwards for the dance forward, so that Sparkle is included in this advancement. Another reason is that if you use Sparkle's ultimate on your DPS's turn, it doesn't reduce her ultimate to turn duration, which means now you can have 100% uptime on her damage increases with Cypher. Now though, let's go over some teams I really like with Sparkle.
It's you, my beloved mask.
The best team concepts I like with Sparkle would primarily be to have a main DPS, Sparkle as your buffer, adding an additional buffer or debuffer, and then sustain. My favorite pairing is our Gacha Gremlin alongside Sparkle. Qingque benefits from all the buffs Sparkle is able to give, and Sparkle's trace Nocturne will be able to buff Qingque's attack even further. Sparkle giving the team an abundance of skill points is highly beneficial for Qingque, as she has more opportunities to gamble with your skill points. And also, Qingque consumes skill points at a rapid rate, which is great for damage increases granted from Sparkle's talent. Another pairing I really like is Dan Hong. He uses a lot of skill points, but with Sparkle you can get away with maxing out his basic attacks with skill points way easier. Another nice thing is that since Don Hongayel is multi-hitting, the high crit damage Sparkle gives, assuming you have a lot of crit rate on him, can highly be beneficial for more damage output. Seele is great with Sparkle due to the buffs and also the quantum attack buff from Nocturne. Some other options I enjoy with Sparkle will be Argenti, since he values crit rate, crit damage. Advancing him forward with Sparkle means that he'll get more opportunities to gain even more energy as well, so this pairing is pretty nice. Jing Yuan is also great with Sparkle because of how Sparkle's crit damage buff works. Because the buff doesn't go away until the beginning of the ally's following turn, if the order goes Sparkle, Jing Yuan, then Lightning Lord, you'll have that major crit damage buff apply on Lightning Lord and just deal a bunch of damage. Sparkle also advancing Jing Yuan forward will allow Jing Yuan to stack more Lightning Lord stacks, and he also will have no problem spamming his skill because of the abundance of skill points that Sparkle can give, which makes this combo very powerful. Here are some other characters who benefit from Sparkle, and a fun build can potentially be looking into Crit Silverwolf, with how Sparkle can boost crit damage, attack for quantum characters, damage overall, and with Fushun you can also get crit rate as well. Now we've gone over some team concepts, let's go over Sparkle builds.
It's you, my beloved mask.
When it comes to building Sparkle, the best sets I would recommend is Messenger of Hackerspace, potentially Watchmaker if you'd like the additional break effect for your team after using your ultimate, and Eagle of Twilight Line can make for an interesting set since Sparkle will be able to advance herself forward after her ultimate if you want her to go more often as well. But I'd recommend the set pieces with the best substats the most, and if you have to mix and match or use a 2-piece of the Messenger of Hackerspace, that is also totally fine. As for Planars, I would recommend Broken Keel, Bleed of the Ageless, Penacony, or Von Quack. Von Quack with 161 speed can let your Sparkle go 3 times in the first cycle, which is definitely a nice bonus. For main stats, you'll want to use crit damage body piece, speed boost, HP or defense orb, and energy regeneration rope. As for substats, you'll want to aim for a good amount of speed and crit damage as your priority, then go for defensive stats to make her bulky. In the case of Sparkle, if you can't get good pieces on her 4-piece set, you can mix and match relics in order to get high speed and crit damage until you get matching sets as well. For light cones, her signature is great for getting a hefty amount of crit damage on herself and giving a good amount of crit rate and crit damage for the entire team. Paired with Fushun, this light cone is even stronger since it allows you to have an easier time with building your characters when it comes to their crit values. As for amazing alternatives, Before the Battle Isn't Over is a great option for the energy regeneration, and also giving a damage increase to an ally Sparkle advances with her skill. The damage increase is honestly really good because when you consider the fact that she's able to get that 48% damage increase and the additional damage as well from Before the Battle Isn't Over, this is a very strong damage increase overall. And just as a side note, for those that do have an S2 version of this, you can actually get away with not using energy regeneration rope, and instead using one of the Penacony or the Von Quack set. You can use this instead and you will actually be able to have enough energy to reach a 3-turn ultimate. You will have to use one of those sets though that do give the 5% energy regeneration, but then with the rope you can decide to do something else if you want to. Past and Future is a mini version of the slide cone with the damage increase only. Dance 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 is an amazing option for Sparkle to advance the entire team forward after using her ultimate. Another option could be Carve the Moon, Weave the Clouds, which is a Battle Pass light cone, but do keep in mind it'll be random which buffs you'll actually get when using this light cone, ranging from attack, energy regeneration, and the crit damage buff. The final option I'd recommend is a Planetary Light Cone. If you are using Mono Quantum, then I would recommend this in the assumption that you want to buff up your Quantum DPS, and then Silverwolf as well. This is when this light cone can truly shine. Otherwise, I would recommend Past and Future over this because of the damage increase difference. Now that we've gone over how to build Sparkle, let's go over my thoughts on her value.
It's you, my beloved mask.
Since we've gone over the essentials of Sparkle, what teams I like her on, and her builds, it's time to discuss the pros and cons and ultimately her value. Think of this as the before you pull segment of the review. The benefits of Sparkle is her ability to be able to advance an ally forward by 50%, increase their crit damage by a massive amount at practically all times, consistent damage increases, and also attack increases for quantum characters. Sparkle is a great option for those who don't have Bronya, as she can fulfill a Bronya similar role in the sense for a good amount of teams. Even for those who do have Bronya, you can use Sparkle on another team as well to basically have 2 characters who are able to advance an ally forward on both sides of Memory Chaos. Her overall value as a result is very high in my opinion, and I would recommend pulling for Sparkle if what I've told you throughout this video interests you to have on your account. My only main con for Sparkle is reaching high speed thresholds, which can be pretty difficult, such as the 161 speed threshold. Since her base speed is 101, it can be really difficult to reach this threshold in particular. For my own account, it was definitely hard for me to grind my relics to be able to reach this, but it definitely is possible. You will just have to get pretty lucky with the relics in general. So that could be maybe a con, but it ultimately depends if you do want to reach that 161 threshold or not. That'll be all for my guide and review on Sparkle. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know if you guys do plan to pull for Sparkle, and stay tuned for my Sparkle showcases as well. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and I hope you all have a great one like always. Peace.